Hello everybody. Today we'll be talking about chemical and biological weapons. Using chemical and biological weapons is not anything new. Biological weapons were used in the 6th century where the astracans were poisoned using fungus in wells, which causes hallucinations and finally death. There are also severe laxatives that were used in the 6th century, where when you have severe diarrhea, you actually die of dehydration. And even earlier than that, the Tartar army in Crimea used to hurl dead bodies of plague victims over city walls to infect the enemy. So there's nothing new here. And the delivery of nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons can be artillery, it can be tanks, it can be even small handheld weapons. The Syria attack was one example. It's one of the most recent modern examples. They had some problems with the assembly and so on, but this is the sort of thing that can really get out of hand that we're trying to control. But this is something that can be made in someone's house if they want to make those weapons. The assembly part is the challenge. Now, in the United States, we've got known points where they store chemical weapons. I suspect that there's many other places that are not publicly known. The persistence of a chemical weapon can be set. When you design the weapon, you can set that persistence, the length of time that the chemical remains active or potent. You can set that to be 24 hours, 1 day, 2 days, 60 days, 90 days. You can set that. The sun almost always degrades that, but that can be set. There is some control over that. And here's part of the logistics of using chemical weapons. Some agents are used to kill and some agents are used to harass. The more effective as far as the business of war is harassing the enemy, because when you get people looking like this and they go back to their troops, you've got for every one person that looks like this, there's 100 people who get scared and don't want to go out and fight. So the more effective weapon is actually the harassing weapon. There are commercial chemical weapons manufacturings in remote locations in the U.S. and around the world, but they can also be packaged by someone personally in their garage. There are some basic types of gas. Blistering gas is a harassing gas. Blood gas is used to kill. Choking gas is used to kill, but you can smell that. So a lot of these you can't always smell or see. The way you detect a chemical agent is through a chemical agent detection kit. This can be bought now. 25 years ago, it could not unless you had some permission from some government agent. But you can buy this now. They're about I think they're about $400. There's 10 packets. Each packet is an individual lab right here, and then you actually expose this in your airstream in your filter, in your NBC filter, and you can detect if there's agents and what agents are in the air. It's a really useful kit. What I always found amazing is that when we had Operation Iraqi Freedom, the civilians in the U.S. bought over 500,000 gas masks, but there were virtually none of these kits sold to tell them when to put the mask on. On the biological weapon side, the problem with biological weapons is they're hard to control. They're hard to control against the enemy. They're hard to control for the attacker. But this is some of the things that people cannot make at their home very easily. This really takes a sophisticated lab. This not like chemical weapons where you can put a couple of chemicals together and you've got some type of weapon. This takes sophistication to make it, sophistication and very special equipment in labs to control it. So this is something really done by a government agency.